fitness, Stu ruins everything, and bad advice we love not to help. All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do, 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 do. You just laughed your way through my intro.
It's funny, man. What do you want from me? You're the one. You're the funnyster. You're the jokesism.
You know,
Nope.
Speaking of that.
I don't know nothing. You're going to educate me right now.
I'm going to help you.
Go.
Speaking of that, as people who are funny adjacent, you must realize, similar to the way I realize, that it is hard. It's hard. It's hard.
What's hard?
Right now, a lot.
Oh. It's
Right
hard
now-
to keep smiling through the
And people expect...
tit high shitstorm. Is that
Yes.
I gotcha.
I think it's well past tit high, but I'm going to say that people still expect a certain degree of giggle from you. And sometimes I'm not up for the task. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'm thinking, I just can't for you today. I know you called me because you need it, and I never answer the phone, and I answered it for you because I love you, but I assumed something was wrong, and you were adding to that high shitstorm, and I wanted to be there for you as a human. But if you're calling me for the sorry, today's not your day. Today's not your day.
Allow me to destroy that notion.
Allow me to disappoint you, because that is why I'm here. I sometimes, I mean, for this, I took a week to put shit together, and I compiled, and I heard a story that somebody paid over $81,000 for 2 inches of Lincoln's hair. And I thought,
Oh,
well,
Lord.
that's funny.
Oh, funny is
sad.
not the word for it. God bless America. That's ridiculous. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Isn't
Who
that
even
crazy?
has, who even could pretend and lie that they had 2 inches of his hair? It's just not something that exists.
Well, they said, well, it is. He was shot, and post-mortem, they clipped off 2 inches of his hair, and they sold it for over $81,000.
What is the purpose? It is the creepiest, weirdest, stupidest juju weird charm that somebody would even buy. It's not
Didn't we
like his
have-
fucking top hat. I mean, it's not an artifact of his life. It's not a memento. That's like fingernail clippings. Dude,
All right, now,
come on.
now I'm going to
Yeah,
vomit.
I'm just trying to say. This is some
What else is dead on
creeptastic
this
shit.
dead man?
This is like somebody's going to take it and try to Jurassic Park, resurrect, witchcraft, Wiccan, reanimate Disney style this dude to come back and point the finger at us and say, "You have fucked this up, America."
Don't throw witches into that mix, because witches aren't crazy. People who buy to Jurassic Park, the former president, are crazy. Like,
No,
what?
they're not crazy. They're scientifically optimistically. These are people. They make sheep in a fucking can. They could make some pretend Lincoln with enough elbow grease and mad scientists. They absolutely could.
Some of my favorite friends' kids were made in Petri dishes.
See,
so
it's not a big leap. It's not
So
a big leap. It's not a big leap to sheep to Lincoln reanimation from hair. It's not even his fucking hair. That's my favorite part of this whole
You don't think it's
stupid-
real?
No. Absolutely no. 1,000 times. 81,000 times no. It's not. That's
We've
a
talked
billion
about-
percent guarantee.
We've talked about people paying like $30,000 for like a small bunch of grapes before.
I was
or
just
do you
thinking
remember that?
Yes. Now I'll
This
tell
is-
you what this is beyond. I'll tell you. I actually was in the kitchen just this morning, and my lovely neighbor has left me produce from her garden, and she is super sweet. I really, really admire her. She is not lewd or crude in any way, and this tomato is more pornographic than anything I have ever beheld. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to put it on the thing. First of all, this is how I saw it on the counter. Okay, that looks like a, oh yeah, it must be.
It just looked like a heart. But then you
there's
tilted
a
it.
fully animated female genitalia from front to back. The whole tomato. My
Look at
ladies,
that taint. Look at that taint right in the middle.
Every single thing. Something was in mind when this was created.
Look how red it is. It's beautiful.
I'm just trying to say,
except for its perfect
plump,
anatomy.
It's anatomically correct. This is a
Wow.
dangerous tomato.
Look
is
at
what
that.
This is. I will take a photo and share it. It's hilarious. That is what you pay $81,000 for. That is Jesus and cheese toast. That is a miracle of our time. Okay, it's not dead important man's hair clipping sorta. That's not what you pay $81,000. Who has $81,000?
What are you going to do with it?
Who is going to Sotheby's for hair? I mean, you could buy something else with that $81,000.
A steak in my beach house.
Yes.
Yeah, which is not going to happen. So, I mean, spent the week finding ridiculous people like that and curating funny things or talking about whatever our lives to that friend who called me for whom I could not be
the monkey.
Dance
I will
for
not
you.
dance for you. Clap,
Dance,
clap,
monkey,
clap,
dance.
clap, clap.
I do apologize. I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. Because here we are.
Well, I know, but let's just for a quick second. Does that? I want to ask the question and not open a huge, big, long topic here. But how does that make you feel? And I mean it legitimately.
Obligated. That's my mother's answer. Remember? Obligated.
Are you more focused on why are you asking me for something I can't give you, or are you more concerned about why is this thing that I could draw on without thinking magically gone? Like, what's the piece that in your mind rattles around more? Or another one that I don't know about.
It wasn't gone. I drew on something. I made her laugh, and then I was so exhausted, and I just I served my purpose. I did what I had to do.
But that's my point. To draw on it not being gone, but it's not effort. It doesn't take work or thought
normally
or arising. And now that it does, like, is that the piece that's like, fuck this place? Or is it more that I love you, but why are you asking me to do this shit?
No,
like,
not
where
that.
were you?
I know why they. No, I know why I'm tapped for certain activities in my life. I just want anyone to understand that there are times where I'm sorry if I haven't hit it, but there are times where I'm sorry. I've hit it for my family. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But for those outside of the compound, of the barracks, I still do dance. But sometimes it's harder than others. And I guess they wouldn't even know that in the end. So,
right.
Because they got what they needed. They got the wah out of my face. Yeah, so they definitely got it. But it is harder these days. And Amy would like to give a PSA to our dear listeners.
I would.
And that is to vote.
A PSA? Well, kids, I don't know if you're aware, but in America, there happens to be a presidential campaign afoot. And it's an important one, gang. So if you're a fan of this show, chances are we would like you to vote. We are also encouraging you to do one thing, and that is do one thing more than you did in the last presidential election. No matter what it is that you did, on whatever level you participated, do that plus one. Add something. Does that mean add a donation? Does that mean add volunteering? Does that mean add signing up to be a paid poll worker, of which there are vacancies in many states? You can get some money out of this deal. Does that mean having a conversation with another living, breathing human about encouraging them to make a plan to vote and vote? Does that mean dragging a young person who has never voted or registered to register and vote? Does that mean engaging with a political candidate on a social media group? Does that mean putting a sign in your yard or buying a button? What does it mean? Whatever you did, do that plus one, because the last election was determined by minuscule numbers. And all we need is to hold what we had and incrementally increase, and things will begin to shift away from what is not sustaining the majority of the country right now. So please get involved and please do that. Don't no ill will. I harbor no ill will to anyone for their political decisions. To me, this is about actively engaging in the future of our country and preserving fairness, equity, democracy, and what is right. please vote. Please get involved. You can do it, and your voice is very important. We need to hear it.
Vote. I know there's still a large number of people who feel like their vote doesn't count. I don't know if your eyes are open or your ears are open, but every single vote counts. But we're going to still try to be funny for you. And I'm going to start by telling you, 15 minutes in, that my husband ruins fucking everything. He does. He ruins everything. If there's a thing, he can ruin it, and probably has. And I'll tell you how this happened once I ask you about your working out. I know both of us have spent some serious time on a downward spiral. And we have also discussed that spiraling down is way more fun and easy than it is to dig your nails into that well. It puts the lotion in the basket. It's like to climb your way out of that well. And I think I heard rumor that you made a purchase of a piece of equipment that might help on this climb.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. She had to do it. She had to do it, gang. Well, I am not in the cult of Peloton or whatever you
yes.
whatever you crusaders call it. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Okay, biking isn't for you.
Put my hand to get the knife. Yeah. No, I won't do it.
Snap out of it.
So I have this husband, yes. Many don't know this. He was a footballer of great interest when he was a young man who had a career-ending injury in high school. He sort of walks kind of with a limp still. 5 surgeries on his knee. So him and running, not so much. Him and exercising, not so much. But he definitely likes isometric. So he magically one day said, I've been thinking about getting a rowing machine. And this is akin to me saying, I've been thinking about becoming a financially prudent investor. Like, it's like, who are you? And when did this happen? And do it now. You know, it's like,
what a great idea. Book it.
It's like, what? So, okay, complete change of personality. What? So he had investigated a couple. We looked around. I used to row and loved it and adored it. Physically row crew on the lakes. And I can't do that now. Well, nobody can do it now because of COVID, work, all the rest of it. So getting back to it seemed like a really beautiful thing. And we bought it. It was the kind of thing where he started talking about it. And it was like a child coming to me and saying, Mommy, I think I'd like to start cleaning my room every day. And I'm like, let's buy out the Container Store. You know, it was like that. I was like, I don't need another second, whatever I need to support this idea.
So when does it arrive?
So yeah, I paid for the thing. I'm so stupid, financially prudent investor. They let you space out the payments until you're long dead with no interest, all this stuff. And I'm like, nope. I just paid for the whole fuck. Yeah, paid for the whole fucker. And within 24 hours, they had sent me my free, we all know that means included heart rate monitor, all these stupid things. They sent me and they said, and your fantastic device should be arriving in up to 6 weeks.
So it is just like Peloton.
So I paid him to build it, evidently, because you don't have one sitting in a somewhere. It's a spectacular device. I am actually really excited for it to show up. It is like Peloton in that there is a television monitor, a video screen connected to it. They have Olympic rowers who have videotaped themselves on actual rows all around the world. So you're like rowing around the world. And they talk you through the row as they're doing it and they're panting. So it feels as close to the experience as you can. Yeah. And everybody in the house has expressed an interest upon hearing this. Oh, that seems pretty cool. When I couldn't get them in a boat to begin with. None of them would join crew with me. None of them, the pigs. And they would all get scholarships. Let me just tell you. Because you get scholarships for crew like nobody's business when you actually do it. Ha ha.
Oh, right.
No, I mean, it's hard. And when you actually
to Southern California. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, she's
I heard all about it.
She's not a good scene. So I am anxiously awaiting this thing to happen.
That's awesome.
I'm
excited for you and your family, and I cannot wait to hear.
I have started. I heard somebody on the television, to be honest with you, talking about 100-pound weight loss. I got 100 pounds to go. Talking about 100-pound weight loss, and she said, in her fully after state, right? How did you do it? Well, I just ate this or that. Nope. She said the one thing that I really needed to hear. and I heard it on the right day. And that was, she said, I kept waiting for the motivation to get my head in the right place and to get in the right place to really embrace it and do it finally, right? I kept waiting for that time to happen because I knew if I got my head in the right place, I would be unstoppable. And so I'm waiting for her to say, and what did you do to jumpstart that time? And then she said the best thing ever. And she goes, and then I realized that day was never coming.
Yes.
So I just started with zero motivation, with zero good headspace. I just started going through the motions without
hoping
any,
to
like,
get to
totally
that headspace.
totally shallow, totally unmotivated, just by sheer force of I have to do this. I don't have another thought. I don't have another piece of motivation, but I'm going to start it. I'm just going to do it. And she started, and she was like me. She was so far off the rails. She was like, the first thing, I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to walk around the block. And then the next day, I'll walk around the block and drink a glass of water. Like, it was the stupidest. These incremental stair-step things are really hard for me. But I started walking around the damn block again. I started doing all the things that have worked for me before. So I am, down 10 pounds, which you're not going to be able to tell that I've lost any weight until I've lost like 80 pounds. But that's okay. I know that I have. And
I think that's fantastic.
That starts to build, and the thing is on its way, and it's starting to get a little bit colder. A lot of things are aligning in the sense that finally there feels like a slight shift. There's not a shift at all, but there feels like a slight shift in that we're coming to the end of this political period. We have moved into a place where the kids are physically going into a school. So they're not here needing 24 hours. I've still got the college kid who's here, but I mean, he's in college. I never see him. So they're out of the house. It's gotten, in North Carolina, it's gotten crisp, which means it's not 80 degrees every day, So it seems like there's been a slight change versus our spring. The weather is like most people's summer, and the summer is like being on the sun. So it's everything was just sort of monotonous, not getting any better.
Can't leave the house.
Somehow sort of getting worse, all these things. And I've been doing a massive amount of talking with very, very bright, talented, unbelievably compassionate and supportive friends here. And, 2 or 3 of those conversations have really helped me jumpstart turning the tide in combination with this other thing. So I'm just trying to steer the ship a little differently, a little better, but it's not. I'm also knowing it feels a little bit freeing to do it with this idea that of course you're not going to have any motivation. Of course you're not going to feel right. Of course,
was the right thing at the right time.
Yeah, there isn't any energy. Of course you're on an empty tank, but guess what? If it's downhill, the wheels still keep going around. So I'm just trying to get,
I like that analogy.
Pretend the momentum is there, and then it'll actually be there. So we'll see.
So I love the fact that your whole family is about to buy into this, but I have to tell you that the reason I started with Stu Ruins Everything is because he would love to ride Peloton. He would love to use the bike that he paid for me. He would love to do that. But see, here's the issue. I think I've told you we joined that boxing gym in the past.
Yes.
My son and I joined it together, and then we took classes together. And then whenever Stuart joins something that we're doing, be it watching a series, a TV series, or the boxing gym, or God help him if he touches those Peloton shoes, he will ruin it for me. I still ride. And that is fucking shocking to anybody who has ever known me, because there's zero in the tank, and I've seen progress, but I don't exercise. My name is literally I hate exercise on Peloton. I couldn't be clearer. And it was like, oh, that's funny. No, it's real. And the fact that I'm still here is almost an act of God. So we went out to dinner with a couple. I think I even told you about it. We haven't been out to that many dinners, so it's the same dinner. And the conversation went like this. What do you mean you paid that for a bike, Stu, and you don't even ride? All eyes on Melissa. Why
won't you? Is this a friend of yours still? Because at that moment, I would question it.
What do you mean, Melissa? You don't let him ride? What do you mean? And then finally, he stepped up and admitted what we all know to be true. And he said, look, don't yell at her. I'd ruin it.
Oh!
And I said, tell him why. Tell him how.
It's your big flop sweat and your man
so
hands. So
he would be disgusting, but I could get used to like, I won't look. I won't know. Bring a towel. Clean it up. Okay. But then he said, for sure, I am paying the same thing for the boxing gym. When he realized he was paying $50 a month for a boxing gym
And maybe not going. Yeah.
and not going every day, twice a day, I'm going to get my money's worth. He's got this mentality that he got from his father when his parents would take them all to the Chinese buffet. And everybody would go and everybody would get, whatever their meal was and then feel disgusting after about 8 minutes of gluttony and still a plate full of food that they haven't eaten because none of it's good. It's just plentiful.
I think it was my friend. I think it was my friend Janine. If it's not, she'll tell me, and I'll have to take it back. That there were two kinds of families. When we would go down on the boardwalk, they had the smorgasbord. I think it was Phillips Seafood Smorgasbord, like one of these all-you-can-eat buffets, right? And in our family, the advice was always, "Okay, kids, now don't eat. Skip breakfast. Get yourself nice and hungry because we're going to an all-you-can-eat tonight, and we want to make sure that you really pack it in." Right? It was that mentality. And in her household, it was don't eat, don't somehow the exact opposite, which didn't make any sense to me when it was an all you can eat, but it was like don't eat this, don't eat that, blah blah blah. So, and I mean they had like 1 million kids or something like this. So when you say that about the all you can eat, I was just visualizing your family at the diner. Did you ever get any of this instruction before the all you can eats, or was it bring a person, put some rolls in your handbag?
Yes. And when choice B. But when Stuart was there with his family and everybody else had what they had, and Stuart cleared his plate, and then he got another plate and he cleared that plate, his father turned to him and said, "You are the only one who got my money's worth."
See? Aww.
So that contributed to his struggle with weight, to his struggle with overdoing things and not knowing moderation or struggle. I don't want to blame his father for all of his struggles, but hey, guess what? This is what did it. If I had to mark a moment.
All of this is just so completely bizarre because I know the man and I know you two together and I know all of this is fucking horseshit. So it's funny to hear it. That you really believe. I can tell you really believe it on some level, but you also absolutely know that it's not accurate at all. The man is not gross. He does not sweat like a barn hand. I'm not really sure what you think happens when he does physical exercise. I've seen him exert himself, and he is just like a normal human. Like, he doesn't turn into some kind of toxic alien that's going to, befoul the entire room. So part of that is like, okay.
And you just want to stay at his beach house if he ever gets one. That's why you're being so nice.
I have seen him glistening with effort and exertion, and it's not a problem. And I think you'd be fine. But here's the other thing. This dude has an idea of value that is rooted in generosity. So that to me is like, bring it. His idea of we got to make sure that we squeeze this fucking sponge of life for all that it's worth is because the things that spout out of that sponge when you squeeze it, I can give to the people I love. So I don't have any problem with this idea of getting all your worth and do your whole thing. He's not going to ruin that fucking bicycle. I think he might. He's not going to ruin the fucking bicycle.
Well, he can't have it, so it doesn't matter.
No, but I need to get off that part because the other thing that you said is he doesn't have any kind of weight issue. It's like there is no, the two of you, what are you doing? Do you have funhouse mirrors in your house? You weigh like 8 ounces and the man does not have a weight issue and he's always doing some kind of a fool, like crazy pendulum swinging diet so that he can drop like maybe 4 pounds. He's 17 feet tall. He's made of muscle. He has a very active job. There's not, for the love of God. For the love of God. Look at who you're talking to when you say.
He admitted that the reason everybody stopped boxing was because he got so fucking annoying with, all right, let's go to the gym. We should all go to the gym.
That he would do, and that he would do. He is an inappropriate cheerleader. I'll give you that.
Yeah, he definitely is. That's a great way to say it.
It's not appropriate. Did you see those TV commercials where the dude is helping people not be old? And he's like, this if there's too many pillows, you can't sit down. And then like somebody goes, is it not in your market? It's for an insurance company. Don't be like your parents. And this guy is a consultant.
Yeah. And then you meet his parents.
And there's a kid with blue hair in like a hardware store. And he walks past the guy, the 3 people, the consultant and the 2 clients. And the consultant says, we all see it. We all see it. We all see it. And then one of the guys, it's blue hair. And he's like, okay, no. You hired him, all this stuff. That's what Stuart is. Stuart needs a cheerleading coaching situation. They got it. They didn't ask you for your support.
And it's hard to insult somebody who's just trying to support you. So when you're like, yeah, I know you want to exercise, but you can't do it on my shit that you paid for. And you said he rings it out to give to other people.
Yes.
He wants this beach house so that he could bring friends. Like that's really all he thinks about is how can I share. I got to get joy so I could share it with everyone I know. Just don't touch my fucking Peloton. He's like, all right, I got it. I hear you. He loves that I'm exercising because he used to say to me.
I think Peloton doesn't fit with this whole narrative. In the rest of his life, this may all be true and he could ruin it. But in this case, I think the Peloton is yours and yours alone, not because he's going to ruin it, but because it's yours and yours alone. In the same way that I don't think you want him putting on your underwear. I mean, this is your thing. The Peloton is your thing, right? And it's become a thing that you're surprised
shocked
to love. So yeah, don't come into my dojo, sensei. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
No, I like that.
Don't do it. Don't
Mojo
fuck
dojo.
it. I won't do it. Yeah, don't do it. He's not gonna ruin it.
I won't let him.
He loves you, and frankly, the two of you have been looking for ways for you to connect with exercise for your whole life because you don't. That's the problem.
I don't.
You don't need exercise.
Oh, I do.
No. He's a doctor, so he knows you actually do need exercise. But you're the kind of person like a fucking a Kennedy. You're just gonna walk around like a toothpick until you drop dead. They don't exercise. Their exercise is picking up the bell to have someone bring them a gin and tonic. They're not actively exercising, but you need it from a health perspective. So he's always been, let's go play golf. You're like,
be healthy. He wants to be healthy.
Come on.
Just so you know,
so
I did take a spin class with John F. Kennedy Jr. that he taught at Crunch in Manhattan.
I was going to say something's really creepy, or this is a way back story. Okay.
It is a way back story. I actually went to take it.
I think I remember this.
The first time, and it was my first exercise class ever, but I went because he was teaching it at Crunch, and I got Crunch Fitness. I got so excited, and then they lock the doors so nobody else could come in, and the lights go down, and you're all clipped in, and then they're like, subbing for John will be, and I'm like,
psych.
I'm like, excuse me, I have to leave. Nope, sorry, nobody can leave. Doors are locked. Nobody can come. Nobody can go. I'm like, this sounds like a fire hazard to me. I really have to go. This class is not for me. It was awful, but I finally did get to take a class with him. It was spectacular. Just watching his calves go around and around and around and around.
That's weird.
It was amazing, but you can use the word weird. That's fine.
I say weird because I'm just picturing if I ever was in a coaching situation or an active situation where I was super turned on, in any way engaged with anybody in the class or the person in front of me. Like that, I just can't even imagine what my mind would do or how much I would
totally
drop the weights
feelings.
on myself and break my own feet. No, I mean it's like when I'm in that class, it's like you're in an event. Do you know what I mean? And there's a goal. You're trying to reach that goal. So you're not
survive. Is that the goal? Trying to survive for 48 minutes.
Yes,
okay.
That is the.
Living.
I don't know. I should be super I am the first person who should be super self-conscious in those moments, but I'm not even aware. It's like when you're acting. If you've acted before, like as an actress, when you get in that moment and you're in the process of doing it, you don't even realize that there's an audience there. You don't realize what's happening because you're so actively doing it.
You're playing the part.
So and you just fully consumed by it. So that's, I don't know what it would be like to be simultaneously
turned
out of
on.
It.
Yeah.
Pulled out of it. No, because then your goal is, how do I get this person in my bed?
No. It was a huge room. There were so many people. He never would have known I was there. It was just for me to drool. It was just, and drool looked like sweat, so I looked like I belonged.
Hey, look, I've been watching Outlander again. I know about drool. Have you watched Outlander? Do you remember Outlander?
Do I remember it?
They've changed it.
I have. I think I told you I watched like 4 seasons, 4 seasons, and then everybody got on a boat. And then I was like,
the boats are so shitty. They've changed everything about it, and there's no sex anymore. All the sex is longing looks and like bare backs.
So it's just historical fiction now?
I get that shit on ABC. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Why'd they switch it?
I don't know. Now every time my husband hates the show, won't watch it at all. Why would he? And I don't want to watch it with him. That's my Peloton. You're going to ruin it. Get out. Right? So he comes in the room, and I just the catch-ups are so funny because he'll just look at me and go, they're on, there's a witch now, there's a blood drinker now, and I say, now they're on a boat. now they're in the Caribbean. Why aren't they in Scotland? I said, now they're in America, and there's Indians, and he
And
just
the whole
slaps
cast
his
came.
forehead. Yeah, and he's like, oh my God. So the whole thing is just so stupid. It's stupid, but I'm still watching it.
There's that. I think I quit on that scene where it was the same as Sandy Bullock going from the windows to the wall.
Yeah, and we're all dancing around in a circle, but this time we're not Scottish. This time we're actually English.
In the Caribbean.
Jiminy Crackcorn.
Yeah, that was
in this.
Sorry, Ginger. You'll correct us, I'm sure. Our friend does a podcast all about Outlander, so
Yes.
we'll hear all about it. Do you have a list of shows that you watch with your husband?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't. Yes, there are shows that we absolutely watch together. Yes.
And what would you do if you found out that he watched it without you?
Well, this is a common occurrence.
Are you serious?
I don't think that it is that gasp worthy. I feel like eyeballs. No, I feel like the hatred and the vitriol needs to be tempered a bit, and here's why. I am the culprit of watching ahead.
You dick.
There's a reason for it. There is, and it's justifiable.
There is.
No, we've found ourselves in this situation
Fuck and you.
more than once. He has watched ahead without me, and it was super cruel and mean. And,
But when I do it, it's just
I
fine.
don't know. I'd love to say that he did it to me first, and then I thought, gloves off, motherfucker. But I can't even say that's true. The one time he did it, I was just stunned. I couldn't believe it. And then I really do feel like there was increased freedom for, fuck you. You fell asleep. Well, that's the other problem. Must I really be held accountable for his sleep? If we have to watch the same episode 3 fucking times because he can't stay
No.
awake, and every time I'm like, but you have to, and I'm kicking, but you have to. So I'm like, no, I'm done with you. Get out. That's it. I'm not doing it. So I
Y'all
just move ahead.
skeet, motherfucker.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. So no. So we get out of sync. It's not, I don't actively try to get out of sync, but if he's slowing me down in a bad way,
You'll throw him right out of that oath.
I will actively help you keep up. I will actively make this happen. We've even gone so far as to watch things earlier in the day.
Yeah.
You know, earlier in the even time, so that it's not, lights out meatball when the thing turns on. But at a certain point, you done. We done here. You done. Ozark is a good example. Because we would get into it, and he's like, I could do one more. And I'm like, you can't. You don't have it in you. He's like, I could do it. And then 5 minutes in, he's out. And at that point, I'm a whole show ahead. I got to backtrack for you. And meanwhile, this one wasn't that good. So I want to get up to the next one. That's just, anyway. There's a lot of them. What do you do? You guys have, he doesn't work a traditional day part. He could work nights. He could work weekends. There's a 24-hour need for your man. So I feel like all gloves should be off, and you should have the freedom to watch and ride and do whatever the fuck you want. You're like a she-devil on a horse. Go!
Yeah, so we save a series for each other. We're like, oh, I'd love to watch that with you. Like right now, Away, the Hilary Swank Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen that. Netflix thinks I'm supposed to like it. They keep telling me I will.
Everybody that's seen it has said it was fantastic. So I said we should watch that together. And there's another one. Anna Kendrick has a movie on HBO, has a series on HBO Max. She's adorable.
I do like her very much.
Called like Love Life or Love something. Sure. So I go downstairs, I hop on the bike, and I look up because Stuart is on his elliptical next to me. And on that TV is like episode 5 of a series that I'm pretty sure I wanted to see, and I didn't because I was waiting for him. So now I'm slightly on fire, and I did get a personal record that day on the bike. Right. So I just wanted to know how you handle that. So he takes out the notes on his phone and he says, all right, I'm going to write down the ones I'm not allowed to watch because we have conversations. And then 4 days later, he's doing the exact opposite of what we decided in our conversation and says, I don't remember that.
I know. And it's true. In his case, it's true.
I don't remember that.
I know.
Really?
Maybe if you were listening the first time, motherfucker. No,
So
but
now,
still,
right.
it's true.
So now he
It's
takes
true.
notes. Now he takes notes.
But then they'd have to reference the notes. So
Yeah, I'll skeet, motherfucker. That's fine. That's fine. It's once again, he's ruining everything.
it's his favorite thing to do. I mean, he was trained for this on an Olympic level.
He was. This week, I had a meeting for my daughter's IEP. It's a, you know what that is, dear listener?
I do. Yeah.
An IEP is an individualized educational plan. It's a legal document that says that the school needs to accommodate your child for whatever their special whatevers are. Mallory's is a gifted IEP, which is a GIPE. That's what I call it, a GIPE. So
I only actually know what this is because you may not know this. One of the first entrepreneurial jobs that I did in Richmond was to write an entire handbook about these, training doctors on the need, and also to make sure that they taught parents how to access special services for their child who's born with Down syndrome or any other genetic anomaly. So I had to write these goofy videos and audio recordings about what it means and what's an IEP, and like talk through in this little weird, after school drama thing. It's ridiculous. So every time I hear IEP, I snap back to Gail Bridgewater explaining the process.
Funny. That's funny. You were on the business technical writing side of it. So I get on, obviously, a Zoom call with a gifted teacher, one of her regular ed teachers, I'm pretty sure it was like AP European History, AP Euro guy, a former teacher of hers from the middle school who's now at the high school, and the principal. So all these faces pop up. I pull her from her Spanish class, and she comes on my computer, and we're just talking about how wonderful she is and how fucking bright she is and what a fucking pleasure she is, and how can we better support here's your technical going to get you into college stuff, but you're a wildly creative child. Like, how can we have this huge plan that we put together. It's really not that huge because she's a junior now, so it's kind of a small plan. But it's very much structured around her interests and her skills, and she's just, and they scroll down to the bottom. I'll screen share here and you can see, and here are Mallory's grades, and it's just ridiculous. She's ridiculous. So the meeting ends, and we all say thank you, for me, we moved here because our last school district didn't give a fuck about our kids. So for them to even have a meeting about my child could move me to tears right now. And every time I meet about them, I'm absolutely crying. So yeah, I'm such a pussy. That's great.
I think it's wonderful. And this is another example of our government at fucking work. This is excellent. This is a free public education. This is non-tuition based. This is available to every student citizen. It's frankly available to every student, even if you're not a citizen, probably. I don't even know how the laws there work.
If identified,
yeah, Matt. Yeah. So this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to educate to the highest possibility, explore the potential of everyone in our country. Why are we not all doing this? Yay, amen, go get
every
it.
day.
Yay,
right.
Go get it.
So she climbs over me from the couch or wherever we're sitting, and goes back into her room and goes back to her Spanish class to catch the last 10 minutes. And they were doing do you know what a Quizlet is?
Yeah, we have Quizlets as well.
It's an online, they create a quiz, you take it, you can create your own quizzes. It's a generator.
That's how my kids are always forced to use it. That's one of their assignments is now you must create a Quizlet.
Yep. It's a generator of questions, and you put in the information and it makes quizzes for you. So I'm like, moved to tears, a little snotty from the, I'm so proud. Jews call it kvelling. Like I'm just really just so.
Yes.
Right. So after the meeting, thank you, leave meeting. Yes, I'm sure I want to leave meeting. Climb out of that little hole we were sitting in, poke my head in her room. 15 minutes left of Spanish class. I said, hey, did you get back in okay? Are you still in class? And she looks at me with this face, and I'm like, what's the face? Like what's happening here? And she says, I'm in, but Quizlet thinks I'm a robot. And I said,
oh,
I said, what, hon? What now? Like, where's the child we were just talking about? What was that? And she said, well, I had to click these things to prove that I'm not a robot, and I failed that test. So yes. Her transcripts of screaming A+ that are still running through the back of my head, because I didn't have grades like that. I just didn't. They're scrolling through her whole entire grade thing, A+, and she's like, I said,
is this a sidewalk? I can't tell.
I said, Mel, don't they just want you to identify trees? Trees or cars or
those can be really difficult. They can be hard.
That's exactly what I did, but I think I got
missed
it
one.
wrong.
You can overthink that shit. You can
And
overthink that shit.
I just looked at her and I'm like, fucking gifted. Like,
And
what?
you want to be my gifted student.
And you want to be my imports guy. Like, I just couldn't believe my ears. Just couldn't believe it. So, of course, I sent an email to the 4 people who were on that meeting. And I said, once again, thank you so much, blah, 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 blah. By the way, I didn't even have to say thank you again. I can't keep sucking your ass. I'm sorry. It is your job. I am grateful for it. I've already told you that. My email said, Mallory, did you get back into class? Mallory, yeah, but it thinks I'm a robot because I tried to identify fucking trees. Yeah. Yeah, just when you think like, all right, I did everything right or I didn't do anything. She's just like this one kid. I'll focus all my efforts on other kids. She's like, I'm a robot. Yes, you are.
There. She'll get there. There is an advanced placement class on tree spotting. So if, with luck and a little tutoring, she can make it into that class.
I think Ethan's taking it this year. It's
Right.
ecology.
And she will not be held back or thwarted on life's path. But yes, that kind of stupid stuff can trip you up. As a brief aside,
So easily.
I came across something from, I want to think it was from Cornell, Carnegie Mellon, somewhere. A university put out a little test. Read through these 8 questions and see if you can spot which one of these social media accounts is completely fake, created by a bad actor trying to convince you of their point of view. It's not a real human. It's not.
I followed you. I did it.
Did you get a score? What was your score out of 8?
I got 6 out of 8 right.
I got 6 out of 8. I've not heard anybody beat the thing. I got 6 out of 8, and the 2 that I missed were aligned with my own way of thinking.
Yes, me too. And I think
that
that's
was
why
the most telling of this quiz, because it's so easy to sniff out, that's horseshit, that's nonsense. Oh my God, who wouldn't?
Unless it
but
follows
then it
you.
gets down to, and honestly, I say it was so easy. It wasn't even easy to get those 6. I worked hard. And I was like, I feel like it's this way, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to click it. Whew. I knew all along. Like, that's what my brain immediately snapped into.
I knew that was a tree and a yard sign.
I didn't fucking know all along. I didn't fucking know. And the best part about it is I have suspected for some time that someone who comments and posts regularly on my feed is a bot. I've suspected, right? And I posted this quiz. And several friends, oh, that's fascinating. I got this. I can't believe how hard it was. Blah, 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 blah. And then that person posted and said, who fact checks this? Snopes, and then put a little GIF like saying this is all horse shit. And I'm like, that's the kind of response a troll would give. So I've just fucking blocked the account.
Oh, good. That's very smart of you.
And
good for you.
It's probably a real person, but I don't know this person, so why should I take the chance? And I guess part of it too, this is, I think, what all of us deal with when we have anything in the public space. You don't censor people who listen to this. You don't censor their feedback. So it's wide open. And then that means lots of things can come over that floodgate, and they don't necessarily have to be associated with your show or something that you like. So the amount of effort and engagement and vigilance that has to go on, it's really too much time. Have you watched the thing that I refuse to watch, The Social Dilemma?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Everybody recommended it, and my skin's crawling.
I have to like get braced to watch some kind of like prison.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just going to be
definitely
awful. And I don't even like social media. I don't use it all that regularly. So I have a feeling it's just going to be the end of it, which is fine, but it's a necessary evil. So anyway, haven't watched it. That's coming up. That's another one in the pipeline.
This year, we just had the first of our 2 big Jewish holidays.
Yes, I meant to reach out and say happy, but there were other things happening.
You put a beautiful, beautiful post on. I feel like you zone into, like a laser, some of my favorite parts of being Jewish, and the stories and the legends and the myths and you really do zone in directly to what I find most important about what my family and friends who share believe. And you posted about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her being a tzaddik, a righteous person. And I just was very moved by your post. I saw it a few places. But for you to just laser focus on as not being Jewish, as something that I feel just really makes my struggle with, I don't even think I believe in God. But there are things I know to be true and things I can wrap my brain around. And that's, be kind, do good, show love. And those people who fight for the right things and do good and show love, those people are rewarded, and those people are out there and should be held up and should be. So when I loved that you wrote that, and I cried when I read it. And at the time, you're going to think we're the worst parents ever. So we just finished watching on Zoom this service with the rabbi at our synagogue, who is also gold. She's just the best. You've met her. And Stuart and I made the kids watch Schindler's List yesterday, because if your head is already full of snot, why not just get it out one of the holes in your head?
Well, surely they've seen this before.
Never. Nope, never.
What?
They've never seen it. They're children, and it came out.
Okay.
Spielberg did that in the 90s, so my kids weren't here. And why would we torture them before? So we figure, I don't want you, it's a holy day. I don't want you on your phone searching social media on TikTok because you think it's going to be missing in 2 days. For the rest of the day. This is supposed to be a holy day, and I can't make you do something I don't believe in. So I believe in movies. So
well, that's a good thing. So what was the result to this? My Lord.
It was a very heavy day. It was a very, very heavy day.
I should say so.
And
did they all go to service with you first?
Yeah, first of all, it was super weird.
Follow, yeah, help me understand.
No, it was super weird. Throwing up the rabbi on a enormous 70-something inch screen in the family room.
You were in the basement, or you were upstairs?
No, in the family room. I had 3 dogs on me, which I have to tell you, if you could bring your pets to religious services, I think that's the way to.
More people. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's the way to do it. I had a sleeping dog face on my chin, and it was cathartic. It was therapeutic. Am I repeating myself? It was the way to do it. And then I took a picture of 3 dogs around me and the rabbi on the screen. I tried to get it all, but I couldn't move back far enough because the dogs are so on you. And the service was short and sweet. I mean, it was really just what you need to take with you, and not all the, I want to honor this person because they donated money to whatever, so give them a whatever, an honor. And It was what you needed. It was the support you needed. It was knowing people were there for you. And then it was over in an hour and a half, and we thought, well, we're usually here a day, so what? So we brought them to the basement, the darkest, coldest room in the house.
I was going to say, good Lord. Yeah.
And we put on Schindler's List, and Stuart is heaving and sobbing. And all you hear from me is all just snot running back up, running down, running up, running down. And he turned to the kids after. Mallory said, that was an amazing. First of all, they complained, 3 hours. Who's got fucking 3 hours to watch a movie?
Oh, you will, little one.
I said, all right, put your phones down. There are no phones for this. No phones. And Mallory said, that was an amazing movie. That movie was amazing. And Stuart is still just a mess.
It's a puddle.
Liquids from everywhere. And he's like, did you guys cry at all? What, are you made of stone? What is wrong with you?
That's what I'm waiting for. What was their response?
Ethan said he fought back tears. I'm so stoic. And I said, let it go, brother. Let it go. These are your people. And I'm not the person to teach them about religion. Steven Spielberg is. That's who it should come from.
Well,
that's who it should
it's
come
coming from somewhere.
And I think they liked it as much as you can like a movie, which is about the systematic removal of your people. I think they appreciated the movie. And in the end, he said, that was Spielberg? Because what does he know that Spielberg does?
Jurassic, Jaws,
Indiana Jones, some Star Wars in there too.
Super 8, all the rest.
Yeah,
of it.
Super 8. That was a good pull. Yeah, so they were amazed, and they dug it, and I was a little shocked. So I kind of put my hands up and I stepped away from them quietly because I didn't want them to have anything else that was formed by me in that experience. I was like, okay, bye. Take care. See ya. And I said, by the way, he's not the only one who did that. He's not the only one who, I know 3 other Austrians who faked documents and did what. So there are these people like RBG in the world, or there were at least, what I want to know is that there still can be and that there still are. Because with her loss, all of those people, all of those tzaddiks, those righteous people, seem to be missing. They seem to be gone. And dear listener, if you know of someone in your community that has helped you, or in any community that has done righteously, can you please email us brilliantobservations@gmail.com? And that's not just me trying to get email. I promise. I want to know. I want to believe again. I need the pixie dust. I need to be here for the friends of mine that are calling me who need to laugh. Like, I need to have something in my tank. I need gas in my tank, and you can help me. brilliantobservations@gmail.com. If you want to put a link or something, you can go to Brillob Squad. It's under the Brilliant Observations Facebook page. Find us and tell me, because I need it and I need your help. So if I've made you laugh, if Amy's made you laugh at any point, you owe us. So do me this favor. I need to know that there are still people in the world who aren't deplorable, who do. Did she just say do?
Did you just say do?
Please, you know what I'm asking. Just fucking do it, okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye. I need bad advice, and I know no one who dispenses it as well as you.
Come to the right place.
Thank you so much.
I am an expert, card-carrying expert.
This is
our
advice
department.
This has been my favorite.
And learned. You've come to the right place.
This has been my favorite segment. Bad advice. We love not to help. I've been invited a couple of times to a meal with friends who we trust, that we know where they've been really, mostly, and we will be careful. We will wash hands. We will mask until the certain point, and we've done dinner. They're almost in our bubble, but because they do have lives outside of ours, we're still very careful. We've been invited a couple of times where other people that we don't know where they've been will be there, or people that we do know have been, because we've seen postings of like to the gym. That seems like a super unsafe place, an indoor gym, or they've been to their work, and their buildings seem super sketchy. And I think somebody just reported that there were some positives, and that so our friends are safe, but the way they've extended it, not as safe. What do I do without sounding like the dick who's like, will there be drinking at this party? Will there be, without sounding like that person who's totally alarmist and crazy, which is truly how I feel telling this story. What do I do?
All right. Well, I want to be sure that we're tackling the specific question, because you've painted a picture that we're all living right now. So knowing all of that as the background, ask the 2 or 3 questions that you don't have the answer for. Should I eat dinner with them? What do I do means, how do I live with this reality? Like, what are you specifically asking?
Should I attend an event where I know that there are less safe experiences exposed? Should I attend a meal where I know that people are higher risk than my usual?
Right. So it's the case-by-case basis still applies, right? And to be fair, everyone in your circle more than likely has been looking at you and Stuart as patient zero from the get-go.
Yeah.
He is an emergency room physician.
Yeah.
So he has exposure. He also has the highest level of protection and awareness of anyone, because he's a medical professional. But he does have the highest exposure, the highest risk, right? That is where people go when I have
sex with him. So
yeah. So the two of you, the 2 Utes. Yeah. So it's happening. Here's what I keep coming back to, and it is a data-driven response. So what you should do, this is actually good advice. What you should do is investigate your Department of Health, or whoever in your state is responsible for reporting this for your state, the numbers in your county, and track that. The numbers in your region, if they give it to you, however they give it to you, the ones closest to you. Because what is happening in your state may not be the same as what's happening in your county. And it's more important to know what's going on locally. If things are trending in the right direction or the wrong direction. Are the number of positive cases going up? Are they staying the same? Are they going down? The number of hospitalizations isn't necessarily as important in guiding what you do every day. It's important in knowing that information is 2 to 3 weeks old. What we already know about this is every piece of information that we see is telling us where we were at least a week or two ago. So the idea about being safe is to behave today as you would 2 weeks from now. So the notion is, if I can predict where things are going to be in 2 weeks, is it going to be better or worse? So I should start acting that way right now. I should be more cautious, or I should stay the same, or maybe we'll come to a point when I can start letting down my guard. The reality is we're going to be wearing masks, and we're going to be worrying about respiratory spread for a year. Maybe some have said forever. This might be the thing where it's just with us now, and we learn different ways of moving through the world. Like in our national perspective, many people might say it's like a 9/11. We didn't have, removing shoes and liquids and all these sorts of things. We put some protections in place that made sense, and also we put a lot of protections in place that are there for our collective comfort. They do
travel. I could
nothing.
never see traveling again without a mask on. I could never see.
Yeah, and the collective idea too about a lot of the things that we did post 9/11, they don't do anything to increase our safety. They are just laughable. They are tactics. They are things that give us functionally in the 50s. It was get under your or whatever it was. Get under your desk.
Yeah.
When the atom
air
bomb
raid
is
drill,
when the nuclear bomb is coming at you.
So when your
desk
skin
will
melts
protect
off,
you, it's made of plywood. Yeah. So it's or particle board. So the idea here is, if you can predict using some numbers where you think things are going to be in 2 weeks or where they are now, that's helpful. The other thing to think about is, what is the association going to be? It's mostly people that you know, and it's outside. It's in a well-ventilated area. If it's inside, would you be okay wearing a mask being inside? Would you be okay? Everything is about lessening the exposure. So baby stepping into it. If it is inside and it feels like something that you think is reasonable to participate in, can you do it for 40 minutes instead of 3 hours? Can you do it for 15 minutes and then everybody go outside for a pretend smoke break? Can you do anything to try and reduce? And can you make sure that you're standing a good, 12 feet apart from each other while you're talking, so you can see each other, but really you're not right up hugging and kissing.
And they're not going to think I'm crazy for, why is Melissa over there?
At the end of the day, you have to balance what is protecting you and protecting your family from spreading this condition all around everybody and the people that you love. We have lost dear friends to this. It's not fucking worth it to get a manicure. It's not worth it if you have to say the words, your Nana's already gone, God rest her. If you had to say the words, my Nana is dead because I got a manicure. My Nana is dead because I went to a party and had, and stayed in somebody's house who I trusted. The Rock has gotten this from
whole
having
family.
Family, babies, from having people that he trusted in his house. The reality is, it can be really light, and it can also be a game changer. So part of it is, yes, you are agreeing that the risk of outcome is not worth it, right? The risk of a negative outcome is not worth it. And that's just a smart thing to do. That's just a smart thing to do.
And I'm that introvert.
If you could prevent Ethan from having a stroke.
Or lifelong lung problems. That's my thing.
Know. Yeah, why are we even talking about this? Yeah.
Right. At his age, it would probably come, go, be fine, but they have forever this interloper inside their body hitting whatever system it wants.
Right. So having said all of that, you got to also weigh it with.
I got it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stay.
No,
I'm gonna hunker down.
But that's not what the point of this is. I've actually started introducing you. You have been more out and about than most all the way along. I started in a full lockdown. Nobody goes anywhere, and so breaking out of that was really hard. You were always going once a week to the shopping. Like, we had delivery for more than a month. There was nothing. Right? Curbside pickup in the trunk, like nothing, no contact. And then that sort of baby stepped into, now I in air quotes, feel comfortable. Has anything changed? No. my mindset has changed. The other thing that has changed is we know just a little bit more about this, where the likelihood of transmission through touch of any surface at all is so much lower than
you thought initially,
the actual respiratory spread. So the mask and the distance are really the two things that save you. It's just the mask. And if everyone in your environment is wearing a mask, the risk of transmission is very, very low as perhaps lower than normal disease transmission, flu, cold, what have you. So it's just a good habit to be in. That starts to feel like, if we're dealing in percentages of 1% or less, 2% or less, to me that feels like a reasonable risk to get together with somebody, to have the joy, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional lift of any kind of connection with another person. That's the anti-Schindler's List. And there is so much more. There's 98% value on that and 2% value on fear. And I choose the 98% every time. But that's only when everyone is wearing the mask. If you find yourself, this is where the friends of the friends, or you get zoinked where you think you're going to be outside and then magically we're all inside and we're sitting around in a little tiny circle.
That'll kill me.
That's where you have to decide, I'm either going to...
head for the car.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm crazy.
You don't even have to say anything. Just say, okay, thanks, guys, and exit. You don't owe anybody an excuse any more than your real friends, any more than they would ask you for one. I have a wide circle of friends, so I'm tracking this with them, some of whom are far more conservative about this than others, some of whom are far healthier than others. And the healthiest ones are, oddly, the most conservative about this, but they're also, people eating mushrooms and drinking tea instead of, all this. They're already like the mushroom instead of coffee, and running hundreds of miles and all the stuff that it's like, all right, okay, I eat meat, so I'm going to hell. And you know what? I'm having a party down there with no masks on. I mean, there's
meat and more meat. I do have one last thing that I want to share with you, and it's about the evolution of rescue dogs. I've had rescue dogs for the last 15, 20 years, and I have discovered these two I currently have. One of them I've had for a year now, and cats too. My friend Monica had a cat for, I think, a year and a half before she discovered that it does tricks, like it plays. It retrieves. She had a retrieving. Samantha was a retrieving cat. It was the craziest thing. It was fantastic. But normally Brilliant has done things recently that she hasn't done before. She's become warmer. She's the dog who'd be happy to lay at your feet until like this week. And I don't know if it's because shit's hit the fan and things are deeper this week, but it's truly, again, at the year mark of having her, she can't get close enough to you. And she's not a small dog. She's a Bernese Mountain Dog and poodle, standard poodle. So she's a big fucking dog. And she is much more communicative and expressive than she's ever been. And I just want you to know that as much as there's shit everywhere and there is a fist on your heart that squeezes every once in a while when you see the news, read the paper, read an article, or talk to someone, or there are dogs all over the world, that are breaking out of their shells and becoming more, and I'm going to say it, human than ever before. I am finding joy this week, and my gratitude this week is for my rescues who are really becoming amazing dogs. Frankly, still an asshole because he's so big and stupid and clumsy and scratches up my legs all the time just trying to get closer and give love, and all of a sudden I'm bleeding and I'm in pain, but he's just like, what? Is that blood? I'll clean it for you. I'll do anything for you. But normally has just become this lovey mush of a silky, terrific dog, and this week I am oh so grateful for her, and I guess her dad, because he fucked a Bernese Mountain Dog and gave me Normie.
There you go. There you go. It's a good thing to be grateful for. Dog sex.
So if you're having issues with your dog, or they just haven't, give it the year or two mark, because they truly become just this totally warm, better. They just become more themselves, and takes a long time to get through that shell of, I was in a cement slab and wire grate for 10 months or 2 years, or frankly, it was 4 years that they tried to breed him at a puppy mill. So I'll give him a little more time. Damn it. But yeah, normally I'm grateful for you this week. Do you have a grateful?
Very nice. I have a couple. The one that comes to mind first, because I felt like I was even pulling a few to save here, but this one is just on my mind for today. There is a woman I don't know, lives in Australia. I'm in a group for podcasts that I don't even listen to. Chat 10 looks 3, right? I listened to it for like
10 looks 3.
It was like great title, and it's these two like Australian chicks, and they talk about movies and books that they like. And
a chorus line.
Yeah, and all of it. It was really engaging, and I listened to like an episode and a half, joined their group, and then never looked back. And everything in the group is really engaging and hilarious. So I really like that group. And hey, I'll get back to listening to the podcast. In any event, a chatter as they're called, was in there, and she posted. She doesn't have any kids, married, right, in a long-term relationship, and she collects china, and it's gorgeous. And it's all kinds of handmade, weird, beautiful, quirky, the strangest. She had her kitchen redone a couple of years ago and specifically had a cabinet made to hold it so that she could use. Her big thing is, I want to use my china every day. It is incredibly special, but it's meant to be used. And sure enough, she had the great fall of china. The cabinet over the sink, the entire bottom of the cabinet was supposed to be specifically reinforced for all this heavy china. And she showed the picture of it tilted like a reverse piano hinge. Boom. And everything in the cabinet fell directly into the sink and bounced onto the floor. And she said, I also had a sink full of dirty, beautifully used dishes. God. So she lost just about everything. And it was just and it was like, you couldn't have even thrown it this far. It was everywhere. So she posted about it and shared the pictures, and she was like, I'm devastated. I'm not even going to talk to you about the kitchen cabinet company. I can't even get there yet. I just need to vent. I need some support. And this whole story turned into about a week's long worth of posts, and it went immediately to and their pictures were just shattered things, and people were helping identify, I know what that is. I know where I can find that. And then it came down to, do you remember that thing where there's a Japanese practice of mending broken things with gold?
Yes, of course. I love that.
A woman who was a practitioner of that said, send me your pieces. I will put them back together. So she did that with a special group. Other people said, I know where you can buy this one or that one. People started sending her stuff. She has now taken pictures of the mountain of boxes of people who sent her piece by piece, new stuff, replacement stuff, all the old stuff. And she's like, I can't even tell you the amount of gratitude that I have, because it's just restored my faith in the world. This is just over and above. And my favorite part, my favorite part is this morning I read a post. It's why it's top of mind. The guy coming in, one of the tradies, she called him, one of the tradesmen who came in to look at the problem and try to start addressing it and reinforce and see what they can do. She said, and I quote, he turned around too fast and his tool belt knocked off my entire drying rack filled of cut crystal. So it broke all of her cut crystal while he was there. And she said, thanks to you, chatters, I could do nothing but laugh. I was laughing hysterically. He was crying, because he already was sort of like, oh, fuck, what have I done?
He understood what he did.
Yes. And she said, I just laughed and laughed and laughed. She goes, so this is completely restored my faith and everything. But can you imagine? The pieces were like museum pieces. I would be afraid to use them. They were so gorgeous. All art pieces. And she would eat with this shit every day. She's one of these women, we know one of these women, where full face of makeup, like an elaborate, her whole persona, you can tell, takes a lot of time and curation. And I envy that for people who not only have the self-interest to do it, but also the time, the attention, how long that shit takes. I can't even, Lord have mercy, I get twitchy during a movie. Like, how am I going to put 4 hours worth of shit on my face? Anyway, her whole life was this sort of perfect, and it was shattered. And now it's sort of instantly rebuilt. And it was just, that made me feel really nice. I was grateful to be a part of that story from afar.
Now I'm going to have to find it.
I'll share it. It's easy enough. I'll pull a couple.
That was
lovely. If nothing else, to show you the cobalt pieces that were, oh my God, they're so gorgeous. They're beautiful things.
Dear listener, you are one of those things to us. I know you'd send us your china or china you found. We don't even have to ask. We just know that you're like that. But you are the reason that we keep coming back, even though you are very elusive to us and we have requested information from you.
Well, that's the other thing. It was listener to listener. This had nothing to do with the show. This was just a fan of the show posting in the fan group for the show, and the other fans came to that fan's aid. It felt a little bit like the Schitt's Creek devotee squad.
Do you guys have your own community that you're leaving us out of? Is that what Amy's telling me right now? Because that's just mean. We brought you together. Don't be mean.
I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be I do. Woody Allen. I question any club that would have me as a member. That's what I say.
I think that was Mark's.
It was a line from Woody Allen. If Mark would say it a lot, he was a stealer, which I know he likes to steal things. So that's a twice smile.
Dear friends, thank you for listening. We love you. Feel free to head over to Patreon and throw some China at us.
We would love it.
Throw some China at us. Take care, guys. Be well and find good things.
Next week's coming. Hang in there.
Bye.
Bye.
Yo, skeet, motherfucker.